Hey guys, welcome back to a very short little video. This is going to be a rapid review of Slade House by David Mitchell. It's been a long time since we've done a rapid review, and this one is going to get me back into it because apparently I want to do rapid reviews of books I absolutely love. Maybe also books I hate, or maybe even mediocre books. So I guess all books. Anyway, I just thought I would tell you that you need to read this book. It's a tiny little square book, which is bizarre, first of all. It is very short. I think the audiobook was like 5 hours long. Like, it's really not long. 238-ish pages, something like that. I think there might even be a preview in the back, so not even 238 pages. Whoa, let me just look at this. Like, what the heck? This book came out of the blue for me when I first read it last year around Halloween time, and then I reread it this year around Halloween time. And this is the same author that wrote Cloud Atlas, The Bone Clocks. He also wrote this book I have right here that I want to read called Ghost Written. I think this one's sort of like the inspiration for this one. Somehow his books are all connected. Honestly, I don't know how. I haven't read them yet. But a lot of people are like, oh, once I read some of the other ones, I understood the context more for this one. But I read this one as a standalone, never have read any of his other stuff, and I absolutely loved it. So I don't want to tell you what it's about because honestly, I went into it knowing nothing. Someone gave me this book. My sister-in-law gave it to me. So I kind of like, not had to read it, but like I wanted to read it because if she said it was good and we have similar reading tastes, then I thought I would like it. On the back, it says it's a haunted house story that spans decades, leaps genres, and barrels towards an astonishing conclusion. And like, I don't even want to tell you what other genre it kind of goes towards, but it does leap from haunted house horror to something entirely different. And I've kind of already said it in some of my other videos, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Sci-fi. It's like horror and then sci-fi. And I absolutely loved that. In some other books, I don't like when the horror element has an explanation, but I did in this one. It was so, so good. So it reminded me of Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which actually, do I have right here behind me? Maybe. I thought I did. Here it is. Reminds me of Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, which is also really, really short and is a very, very strange, maybe even stranger than this one. But this one, it's not horror or anything, but it's kind of like a mystery and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And then it turns sci-fi and gives you all the answers and is like, here's the reason. But this one does that in a different way. I mean, it does do the same thing. So why this one works better, I don't know. I think it's the horror angle too that helps with the haunted house story. But this one, at the end, the conclusion is just epic. Whereas in this one, the conclusion is just, here's what's going on. Like, that's it. Like, the conclusion is just giving you the answer. In this one, you get the answer, but then you get something really interesting in the story itself happening. So really, honestly, that's all you should know going into it. The other thing that made this stand out so much to me, besides the change in genre that I really didn't quite expect even, which, like I said, I'm sorry that I spoiled that for you, but I feel like that's the only way to tell you to read it. Also, the writing. The writing is phenomenal. This David Mitchell guy is a super, super good author. Everything's like so fleshed out, which is hard to do when they're like little vignettes, like each section. And I'll show you like the first one. Well, here, they're even numbered here. No, that's not it. That's never mind. I lied. The Right Sort, 1979. So each one takes place 9 years apart because this one thing happens like every like 9 years. Was it 9 years? You know, it might be 7. I think it's 9. I think it's every 9 years. Does it sound every 9 years? Yeah. The residents of Slade House extend an invitation to someone who's different or lonely, and it's like a certain person, and it has to be every 9 years, and then they never come back, and something happens to them when they go inside this house. And that's really all I want to say. But each time you get to know the character from that time period. This one person that goes inside the house and what is happening to them, and you build on it each time. Like, each time it's not a separate little story, it's like kind of connected, because like the next time when you meet a character, he knows what happened to the first character. He knows that 9 years ago a person disappeared, and then 9 years later he knows that 2 different sets of people 9 years ago and 18 years ago disappeared. And so that like it kind of builds on itself. It even is a little bit of a mystery with the characters kind of trying to solve the mystery too. Like, you kind of, the reader, think you know what's going on until the end when you kind of don't, and that's why it like turns itself on its head at the end and like twist everything around, and it's so, so good. So anyway, the writing's good, the characters are great, the plot is amazing. Would you say there are themes in this? I mean, kind of, sure, why not? There are sort of themes, but honestly, it's just super fun, super short, and I don't know why everybody doesn't read this. You don't just have to read it at Halloween time. Read this any time of the year. It's not really a haunted house story. And check out maybe some of his other books too. Like I said, I think Ghost Written is really, really similar from what I hear. Just much, much longer. So I'm going to read this one next. I'll let you know in the future if it is. So anyway, check out this book. It is so, so good. I recommend this for literally pretty much everybody as just a change of pace, even if it's not your kind of book. So anyway, check out, I just forgot the name, Slade House by David Mitchell, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.